If you've never had your child watch you get handcuffed for something you didn't do in a place that's supposed to be safe, I hope you never do. Because once your kid sees that, once they see you powerless, something shifts, and it doesn't just shift in them, it shifts in you too. Yeah, that happened. And it happened on an ordinary Tuesday at 3:17 in the afternoon in a school pickup line where nothing dramatic is ever supposed to happen. I remember the sunlight that day more than anything. It was one of those crisp December afternoons, low 40s, bright sky, the kind of light that makes everything look sharp and harmless. I'd pulled into the pickup line at Riverside Elementary like I had hundreds of times before. Same silver SUV, same laminated tag hanging from the mirror, same routine. I picked my daughter up 3 days a week. The teachers knew me. The crossing guard waved at me. I wasn't some stranger rolling through. I was just Zoe's dad. Zoe was 8 then, 3rd grade. Loved drawing dragons and correcting my grammar when I texted too fast. She trusted one thing absolutely. When school ended, I'd be there. That trust is sacred, you know what I mean? It's simple, it's pure, it's not complicated by politics or policies. Daddy shows up. End of story. She came out of the building that afternoon bouncing backpack half open, yelling, "Dad, look what I made." I stepped out of the car smiling because that's what you do. You soak in those small moments. That's when I heard Sir step away from the child. Not hello. Not excuse me. Just that. Cold and flat. I turned and saw 3 federal agents walking toward us. Tactical vests, badges, the kind of posture that says they've already decided something. I actually laughed at first because it didn't compute. "That's my daughter," I said. "I'm picking her up from school." One of them, mid-40s buzz cut, didn't blink. "We need to verify your immigration status. ID and documentation. Immigration status. In a school pickup line." I said, "I'm from Atlanta. Born and raised. This is Zoe Crawford. I'm Isaiah Crawford. You can ask the teacher." Mrs. Patterson was right there holding her clipboard. She stepped forward, voice shaking. "That's Mr. Crawford. He's here every week." The agent barely looked at her. "Ma'am, this is a federal matter. Step back." Zoe's hand tightened around mine. "Daddy, what's happening?" That question cut deeper than anything else that day. I knelt down and told her, "It's okay, baby. It's just a mistake." But the agents weren't acting like it was a mistake. They were acting like I was already guilty. "Step away from the child or you'll be charged with interfering," one of them said. Interfering with what? Standing next to my own daughter, I offered my driver's license. Told them my birth certificate was at home. Told them I worked 5 blocks away. "We'll verify at our office," the woman agent said. "You need to come with us." I said, "I'm not leaving my 8-year-old daughter in a parking lot so you can figure out what you should have figured out before you approached me." Parents had started pulling out their phones. You could feel the tension building. The principal came running out, Dr. Washington, voice steady but sharp. "He's a registered parent. He's background checked. You are not doing this in front of these children." But they were already escalating. "Turn around," the buzz-cut agent ordered. I asked, "For what?" "What law did I break?" He said, "You're resisting." I said, "I'm asking questions." And then his hand grabbed my arm. I pulled back instinctively. Not to fight, but to shield Zoe. "Don't touch me in front of my daughter," I said. That's when the cuffs came out. The sound of metal snapping around your wrists in a school parking lot is something you don't forget. Zoe started screaming. Not dramatic screaming, not movie screaming, the kind that comes from somewhere deep in a child's chest. "Daddy." Daddy Dr. Washington tried to pull her away, but she saw it. She saw them twist my arms behind my back. She saw them walk me past a line of minivans like I was dangerous. 7 minutes, that's all it took. 7 minutes to take a routine Tuesday and turn it into the worst day of my daughter's childhood. At the field office, they processed me like anyone else. Fingerprints, mugshot, property bag. I kept repeating my social security number like it was a magic spell that would undo the absurdity. "Check it," I said. "Call Georgia. I've lived here my whole life." 90 minutes later, a different agent opened the holding cell and said, "You're free to go. We verified your citizenship." That was it. No apology, no explanation. I asked, "On what basis did you detain me?" He said, "You were detained for verification." I said, "In front of my daughter." He didn't answer. My wife Nicole was waiting in the lobby with a civil rights attorney she'd called in a panic. Nicole's eyes were red, but not from crying anymore, from anger. "Zoe won't stop shaking," she said. When I walked into Dr. Washington's house later that evening, Zoe ran at me like I'd come back from war. She wrapped herself around my legs and kept saying, "You came back. You came back." That's when it hit me. She wasn't sure I would. That night she slept in our bed. She woke up twice screaming. Every time I shifted, she'd grab my shirt to make sure I was still there. Here's the part people don't understand. The humiliation didn't break me. I could handle being embarrassed. I could handle being angry. What broke me was the look on her face when they cuffed me. That moment when she realized being right doesn't always protect you. So we filed a lawsuit. Not because I wanted money, because I wanted a record. I wanted someone to say out loud that this wasn't acceptable. The claims were straightforward: false arrest, unlawful detention, violation of civil rights, emotional distress. They had no warrant, no tip, no database match. In depositions, one of the agents said I fit a profile. Our attorney asked what profile. Silence, then experience and training. Experience of what? Being black in a parking lot. The body cam footage was brutal. 3 angles. My daughter's voice echoing. The jury watched every second. They saw me offer ID. They saw the principal intervene. They saw the escalation. They heard Zoe testify. A year later, small voice, hands folded in her lap. They put metal things on his hands and he couldn't hug me. You could see jurors wiping their eyes. A child psychologist testified that Zoe had PTSD symptoms: nightmares, separation anxiety, panic every day at 3:15 p.m. Nicole described our daughter asking, if daddy's a citizen, why did they take him? There isn't a clean answer to that question. The defense argued good faith, complex enforcement, honest mistake. But mistakes usually involve confusion, not stubborn escalation. After 11 hours of deliberation, the jury came back unanimous: liable on all counts, full damages, $4.4 million. I remember sitting there, not smiling, not celebrating, just exhaling. Because for once, someone official had said this was wrong. The money went into trust funds, therapy, advocacy. It doesn't erase anything. It doesn't give Zoe back that Tuesday. The agents faced discipline, demotion, reprimand, suspension. None lost their jobs. The payout came from federal funds, meaning taxpayers covered it. That part still sits heavy with me. People say, at least you won. And I get what they mean. We did win in court. But I still arrive at school early and scan every vehicle. Zoe still checks the parking lot twice before getting in the car. Winning doesn't reset your nervous system. It just gives you validation. So here's where it gets complicated. Some folks tell me the agents were just doing their jobs, that enforcement is messy, that if you match a description, you get checked. Others say school zones should be off limits unless there's immediate danger. I don't have a perfect policy answer. I just know what my daughter's scream sounded like. I know what it feels like to be treated as suspicious in your own neighborhood. And I know that a laminated pickup tag and a teacher's confirmation should have been enough to pause. Zoe still asks questions. Are they coming back? She'll say if she sees an unmarked SUV. I tell her we're safe, and most days I believe it. But part of me stays alert because once you've seen how quickly ordinary can flip into chaos, you don't forget. So I'll ask you this: if you were in that parking lot, what would you have wanted to happen? Should enforcement override everything, even the presence of children? Or should there be lines that don't get crossed without real evidence? I'm not asking for slogans. I'm asking for honest thought. If you've ever witnessed something like this, if you've ever felt misjudged or powerless in front of your own kid, share your story. Drop it in the comments. Let's talk about it. Because silence makes these moments easier to dismiss, and conversation makes them harder to ignore. And if this story moved you, if it made you picture your own child standing there at 3:15 waiting, subscribe, share it, keep it alive. Justice doesn't start in a courtroom. Sometimes it starts with people refusing to look away.